All right, guys, the day is finally here for me to test out my 2024 Acura Integra Type S. Here at Sonoma Raceway, we are with Lightspeed Track Events. They always run a great event. Link in the video description for more info on how to sign up for their track days. This car is completely stock with the exception of some Castrol SRF brake fluid that I put in a few days ago. Michelin PS4S, the OEM Brembo front brakes, stock suspension, stock everything. Let's see how it performs here. All right, first time doing the pedal dance to completely disable traction control. So, engine running, car in neutral, parking brake off, press and hold brake pedal, VSA button, hold once, hold twice, engage e-brake, foot off brake pedal, press and hold, keep the e-brake engaged, press and hold the brake pedal, VSA button, press and hold, VSA, haha. What a freaking process just to let me drive my Type S the way it's meant to be driven. Now that I actually have my helmet cam going, completely forgot to turn it on in the first session. We did a 156.0 in the first session, which is 1.3 seconds behind my best rear Z time. We also dropped the tire pressures quite a bit, so hopefully we'll be at around 35 hot. In that first session, we got it all the way up to 39 in the front. These tires really have a very narrow window of grip. I wasn't able to beat the 156.0 I did earlier. I'm actually driving a lot worse this second session somehow. The car feels pretty good, but the tires are really holding it back. I only maybe have 3 laps of peak grip before the tires really start falling off. So if I run into any sort of traffic or if I make any mistakes during those 3 laps, the lap time is out the window. So it makes it really tricky to set a good lap with this car. I'll sum up my thoughts while we're driving around the paddock to cool the car down. Let me take this helmet off though. So overall, I am pretty impressed by the car. It handled about as well as I expected it to, with completely stock everything, just upgraded brake fluid. It's got a great engine, love this K20 C1, lots of mid-range torque, but there is some lag. Below around 3,500 RPM, there's really not a whole lot going on, so you do have to rev this thing out to get good performance out of it. Unfortunately, without an oil temp gauge, I really don't know how hot the oil is getting. We're just on the factory 0W20 Honda oil. I'll be doing an oil change right after this track day to put in some quality 5W30 Pennzoil Ultra Platinum. Really good brakes, actually, for factory brakes. These Brembo 4-piston front calipers and these 2-piece rotors, they're really doing quite a commendable job. But it's the pads that are the weak point. I haven't gotten brake fade today, but the pads definitely do feel a bit soft. There's not much initial bite. Other thoughts, the transmission's fantastic. Honda transmissions always have been, no surprise there. The steering is actually quite communicative. I have it in the sport setting, not sport plus. So in the middle weight setting for this EPS rack, good feedback. There is a little bit of torque steer, but it's manageable with this LSD. The LSD does a pretty good job at pulling me out of the corners, but in some second gear corners and some third gear lower speed corners, like the double apex here at Sonoma, I always forget the corner numbers, but in those corners I am definitely feeling the limitations of front wheel drive. Even when I try to slowly roll into the throttle, there is quite a bit of understeer. The car just wants to keep pulling straight when I'm asking it to turn and accelerate at the same time. So despite what people have told me about, you know, the FL5 Type Rs and similar front wheel drive cars being really surprising in terms of how early you can get on the throttle, I'm not really feeling that in some of the corners here. I think in the higher speed, third, fourth, even fifth gear corners, the car feels really neutral. I can actually induce a lot of turn and oversteer with just a jab of the brakes, which is great. I can use that to help the car turn. I love having that option at my disposal. So I really like that. It gives me a hint of my past rear wheel drive life. The suspension in sport mode, I've left it in sport mode the entire day. Haven't messed with comfort or sport plus. I'm trying to keep the variables to a minimum right now and just focus on learning the car in one setting. With the stock alignment and PS4S tires, I don't want the damping to be that stiff. So those are my overall impressions of the car. I think the lap time is basically around what I expected for bone stock setup, a second to 1.3 seconds slower than my PB in the BRZ. Although I do think if I drove this car as well as I did when I did my PB in the BRZ, it would be a low 155 laps. So within half a second, and my BRZ was on 225 section with Kumho V730s. So really not bad at all considering we're on PS4S rubber and stock brakes. Like I said, I'm gonna focus on just getting some good brake pads on here. There is a chance I will just go ahead and bite the bullet on some proper tires as well. Although I do think with the stock suspension, with a really grippy tire, I wouldn't be making good use of the grip. But that's really all I want, just some brake pads and tires, and then I want to just get comfortable with the car before I start tweaking it too much. There you have it. We didn't get the lap time necessarily that I was hoping for today, but just know that with my level of driving skill, it's definitely a low 155 car here at Sonoma Raceway, if not a high 54. Again, I've only done 3 sessions. I'm really looking forward to what I can do with this car in the future as I get more comfortable with it. And of course, the mods will come after that. So thank you guys for watching. Shout out to Lightspeed for hosting another great track event, and I'll see you guys very soon. All right, well, in a surprise turn of events, I've decided to do the last session here. And my co-pilot is Jaden. He is a professional race car driver. He races in IMSA, and he's gonna tell me what I'm doing wrong, which is probably everything.
I'm just gonna say things.
Just scream. I'm hoping that even though you're adding weight to my car right now, with the added confidence boost of having a pro driver next to me, I can still go sub 56.
That sounds fine to me.
In other words, you don't actually have to do anything.
Yeah, it's just you go faster than I send the invoice. Be like,
as long as you don't throw up. I got white seats, okay?
Oh, but they have a cool seat button. Oh, is that a heater?
That's only heating.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Oh, I was just say if you see me turn on the cooled seat, that means I'm getting sick, but it's not there.
Tank. Maybe it's fuel starvation.
Maybe, actually, yeah. I know a lot of new cars do that for some reason.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, womp womp.
You were on for a lap.
Yeah, I think I was. You know what's weird? Having you sit with me makes me drive smoother.
Really?
Yeah. I guess I'm really trying hard not to make mistakes.
Just put somebody here all the time.
Yeah, right?
Like a rally driver.
No, man, it can't be anybody. It has to be an IMSA driver.
The car feels pretty good. I was surprised how much it oversteers.
Right? It's nice.
Like, it feels like it moves more than the FK8s I've driven.
Oh, really?
In fact, they're not button willow, so it's different.
Yeah.
It could be the tires as well, because they're, like, not that grippy.
Yeah, they're not really grippy at all, but they're good for about 3 laps. I'm hoping that was just fuel starvation.
There's no warnings or anything on.
No, nothing. Had over half a tank when this session started.
I mean, you're keeping up with like the Camaros and the Ariel.
How do you think the suspension feels from the passenger seat?
It feels good. It's just like, it's definitely struggling with the front grip.
Yeah.
I think the rear feels good though.
The rear?
Yeah, like it starts to float, but it's not like too harsh.
Yeah.
Like I know most fast front wheel drive cars are like very oversteery.
Right, yeah. I feel like for a PS4S level of grip, the suspension does a pretty good job. Especially
like the way it is, like everything stock, it feels like it's tuned really well.
Yeah.
I would say older front wheel drive cars, like when they're stock and they're just so much understeer that you can't do anything with the car.
Yeah, just terminal, right?
Like I could feel that it's like kind of like rotating in the back. Yeah. I mean, on outlap it like oversteers.
Yeah, the tires were cold.
Like, I don't know if I'd want more rear grip in the car. Like, I would want more front grip, but I wouldn't want to add rear grip with it.
Well, thanks for riding with me.
Oh, thank you. It was like a really open session. There was like no one around. It was
like 1/4 the cars that were there in the morning.
And we'll have to go to the Laguna Day.